Hey everyone, welcome to the KU Report and a company update from Valkea Resources, chatting with the president and CEO, Chris Donaldson. We are going to be outlining the exploration plans coming up at the Paana Project in Finland, in the central Lapland Greenstone belt. There's a lot of action happening with Valkea and around Valkea with a lot of the other major companies and explorers in the area. Valkea is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol OZ, on the OTCQB under the symbol OZBKF, and the Frankfurt Exchange S600. Now, Chris, back in July 11th, you issued a news release that outlined pretty much your exploration plans here at the Paana Project, but also maybe some other work you'll do at some of the other projects that you hold in Finland in and around this Paana Project. First and foremost, take us through what the strategy is going to be at Panna with drilling this year, please.
Hey Corey, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's certainly been a busy summer. The adage of people, sell in May and go away. I think anybody who's done that is certainly missing out. It's been fun for us. We completed that financing, raised 4.1 million at the end of June, and that was anchored by an investment by Michael Gentile. And then, yeah, we hope to get right on the ground here pretty soon. So we announced a drill program where we'll do 2,000 to 3,000 meters, and that'll be focused on that new discovery we have in what we're calling the Koivu Zone. We really want to flesh that out. It's in some rocks that are Ikari style or Akari style. Of course, that's Rupert Resources project, which is just down the road from us as well. So hoping to get on the ground mid-August, and we'll have a couple of month program. And yeah, really anxious to see what flushes out of that.
All right, talk to us about the main target here. It seems like it's at this Koivu Zone, the Aarnivalkea West target. That's where all the focus is going to be. Why are you just focusing here for the program?
Well, we have kind of two zones now, and that's what came out of our last drilling campaign, which ended up in the spring or completed in the spring. The two zones are one called the Honka Zone, which we're calling kind of Kittilä style. It's got really high grade, but potentially a little bit more nuggety. So it would require a little more drilling to be able to quantify how much gold is there. We're particularly excited about this Koivu Zone, which, as mentioned, is more similar to Kari. It has longer sections of continuous gold, and yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be quite big. And so we're going to follow up on the one drill hole that was put in there, and test above and below that, and then also test on the margins here to see what the potential size could be. The overall goal is at the end of this is to have some idea, what kind of deposit we have there, have visibility on, is this 1 million plus ounces, and how much more drilling will it take to be able to quantify that.
So since we can say that the discovery's already been made, now it's seeing what the size and scale could be, as you just mentioned. What sort of step out distances are you going to take from these discovery holes with this program?
Yeah, so we'll do some, kind of 50 to 100 meters, so fairly tight, and then the whole anomaly is about 1.3 kilometers. So we'll do some on the edges there, and those will be bigger step outs just to test the extents.
What about depth of these holes? If you're going to put in 2,000 to 3,000 meters, how many holes do you think you'll get out of that? How deep are you going to be drilling these holes?
Yeah, not too deep at this point. We've only really tested down about 350 meters or so. And, it's important to note that there's likely quite a bit of mineralization at depth. I mean, I think they're modeling down to 2 kilometers now, or 2,000 meters. But we're really concentrating what's at or near surface. And so I think the average will be around 350 meters for the holes. So we should be able to get kind of 8 to 10 holes out of this program.
Chris, any idea how slow the turnaround times are at the Assay labs? I know it might be hard for you to say considering you haven't even started drilling, but look, there's a lot of drilling going on right now. So any ideas when we could even start to see some early results?
Yeah, I like the way you frame that with how slow will they be, because they're never quick. Our experience last time, it was kind of 6 weeks plus or minus. But yeah, to your point, A lot of activity in that area. We've got Agnico right next to us. You've got Kinross Gold with an exploration play, Rupert, Orion, and B2 Gold as well. And there's a couple of newer companies that have come into this area, which, and I'm just talking about the central Lapland in northern Finland there. So we're kind of banking on 6-7 weeks for turnaround. But sometimes when these bigger companies, if they put in a bunch of assays, our order on the pecking line is generally behind them. But yeah, it's actually generally not too bad in that area. And the assay lab is actually a block away from where we store our core in a town called Sedankula.
So in terms of when this program will start, and do you need any permits before you start this? Address those two questions, please.
Yeah, so we're hoping to start mid-August. We've mobilized the team. We hired Geopool, which is a local contracting firm that they're going to run the program again for us. They've done a lot of work for a lot of those big companies in the area in the past, and we were really happy with them before. So that's underway, and like I said, hopefully mid-August. So you're looking at early mid-October, we'll start getting some results back.
Okay, so Chris, as much as the focus is on this one target, what about working up other targets just on this Paana project?
Yeah, so the Paana project actually has two kind of target zones. We've got Aarnivalkea West and Aarnivalkea East. The main focus will be on the west, and that's where we've done the drilling in the past. But we will do some base of till and some target generation on the eastern anomaly, and we'll do a little bit of work on a project a little bit further north called Rova, and we'll set that up as well.
What does that work look like? What could we expect just on this side of the target generation?
Yeah, basically, so this whole area is covered by till, so there might be 5 to 15 meters of till. So the exploration process has an extra step to it. You'll do your soils and your geophysics and kind of on ground and above ground stuff. And then the process generally includes doing what they call base of till drilling, which is shallow drilling into the top of the bedrock. So less than 100 meters of drilling, they probably average about 40 meters down. And from that, if you see the pathfinders there, then that can flesh out a target for you to do the deeper drilling. So, it's a process that, all the companies use in the area, and it's been quite effective. And one thing that has come out is that the till, there's not a lot of transport to it, whereas in some places, it can go downstream and move quite a distance. The mineralization tends to be relatively in situ. So, by the time you do the diamond drilling, generally you get a pretty high success rate of hitting some kind of mineralization.
So Chris, with the few projects, the portfolio of projects that you have in Finland, would you also be open to JVing any of these projects, bringing a partner in to move them forward?
Yeah, well, we have 5 projects that we own 100%. No royalties on them, and are the main two that we're going to be focused on, are focused on, certainly Panna and also Rova. The southern projects that we have, we'd be open to do something creative on that. We do have a large land package, and you just can't work everything, being our size. We do already have actually a couple of JVs. We have on 2 additional projects, we have a JV with Rupert Resources where they're earning in up to 70%, and they're fairly active on that as well. And then, of course, not even in Finland, we've got our old legacy Australian assets where S2 Resources is earning into those as well. So we're certainly open to, we'll call them the non-core assets, doing something creative with them, and our focus will remain with Panna and Rova.
So with cash in the bank, and let's talk about budget for this program. If you're going to be drilling 2,000 to 3,000 meters, what's the budget going to be? And since you just raised $4.1 million, how well funded are you for it? Take us through that, please.
Well, we're certainly well funded for this program. We'll probably put about a little over $2 million. We're just finalizing the budgets now, which will leave us some money at the end. And, so we could expand it and do another hole or two if need be. It's never good to spend right down to your last dollar, so it's nice to have a little cushion at the end. But for right now, the plan is a little over $2 million and really flesh out that Koivu Zone.
All right. Well, Chris, that takes us through it here. You're going to be starting exploration, some drilling very soon. let's see what the drill core leads. This is a market that does reward discoveries and growing those discoveries. So hopefully you come out of the gate quickly with some good drill results. And again, in Finland, still a lot of interest in this Lapland Greenstone belt. If any of you have any follow-up questions for Chris, please email me. You can also click the link in the show notes to visit the Valkea Resources website and read over the recent news and find out more about these projects. Chris, thank you again for your time in this update.
Hey, great. Thanks, Corey.